Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in a Year 2021. We are on day 320. So we have finished the Gospels, and now we are moving into the Acts of the Apostles, which most of us agree are actually the Acts of the Spirit. But we're reading through chapters 1 to 3 today. Um, and what really stood out for me, as we continue to address the relationship issue, how do we witness to people, right? How do we convince them of Christ? How do we convince them that the Father really loves them and it's the best decision that they could possibly make? What we see here in the gospel is usually there was an act. Okay, there was an act, there was something visual to see, and that was followed up by an explanation. So we have um, we have the speaking in different languages, and it's not tongues. Okay, it's not the language of the angels, languages of heaven. This is specifically various languages, and we know that because of the fact that it addresses that there were so many people, so many Jews from so many different parts of the world with so many different languages, and they all heard the disciples speaking in their language. And this drew the crowd, and it was filled them with wonder and amazement. And then Peter stood up and he gave explanation. And as he gave explanation, 3,000 turned around and joined them. 3,000 joined them. Um, and then there's as they look in on them. I mean, there's Peter and John, the temple, all of that, but there's them, the people looking in at the church, at what's going on, and they saw. It's not just the miraculous, it's the righteousness. And by righteousness, I'm talking about love. To walk in righteousness is not just following a certain code, it is actually doing things based on Father's love. It's doing things based on relationship, and where they had such a love for each other, and they're sharing for each other, and they're spending time with each other, they're encouraging each other, they're lifting each other up, and people are looking in and saying, hey, I want that. And they were joining in. So there's all kinds of different ways that we can say that they see Christ. It can be through the miraculous. It can be through healings. It can be through signs and wonders. But there's usually an act. But you have to follow that act up with an explanation. It's some people refer to it as preaching. Is it fair to preach the gospel without signs and wonders, without some manifestation of the Spirit? Well, when we look at the disciples and the apostles and how the gospel was presented, it was usually I'll say usually with some kind of evidence of something different. Even with Cornelius and Peter later on, we'll look at that. The fact that he had received a messenger telling him to send for Peter in itself was, that in itself was a supernatural event. And the fact that Peter was there, when he sent the messengers, they found Peter just like the messenger had said, just like that agent of the Lord had said to him. And then Peter comes and presents the gospel, and yeah. So we need to look at this. I think we need to give serious consideration on how it is that we present Christ. And I know for some of you that will be a challenge. Some of you don't really believe in signs and wonders, and I just ask you to consider Scripture. That's all. And others aren't sure even how to operate in that. And all you have to do is open yourself to the Spirit, for the Spirit to do those sort of things So I just encourage you in that, and look at Scripture, understand Scripture and what's going on, and don't take my word for it. Honestly, look at Scripture, read through Acts, and see how the Spirit was doing things. You guys be blessed, and we'll talk to you later.